Hey, Shalom, Makim Shalom. First and foremost, as always, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakudash. Double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders, a great millstone that taught us his truth, and that's still teaching his truth, and much peace, love, and salutation to the elect, beginning with the 144,000, all the way down to the large multitude that believes in who the Lord will deliver in these last days. To you all, I say Shalom. I'm the brother Tazamah from the Great Millstone Dallas Camp, coming back today with another lesson, and Lord willing, today this lesson will be edifying. Today's lesson is going to be entitled John 7 and 35. All right, John chapter 7, verse 35 in the Diaspora. And as you see, I have a couple precepts written out. And I seen Elder Apostle Tahar go in and do a lesson on this the other day. And I'm actually just making my way to actually do a lesson on it as well. You know, and just put my 2 cents on the Diaspora, because, you know, you have these Christians that'll try to use, you know, they think that the Israelites, you know, just like any other people, like for example, you know, you have other people, other nationalities of people, whether they be Palestinians or whether they be so-called Chinese or people from France or whatever the case may be, that, you know, originally that may originally be from one area of the world, okay, and then they get displaced and they get dispersed out of their land and they go to another land, but they're still, you know, they're still called Chinese, or they're still called Palestinians, whatever the case may be, but they just been dispersed or displaced. But when it comes to the Israelites, when it comes to us, you know, it's just so far-fetched, you know, even though the scriptures clearly tell you it's clear as day, all right, in the scriptures, that we will be scattered amongst the heathen, all right, as a curse and a punishment against us, you know. But for some odd reason, it's just so hard to understand and just so hard to accept, because they don't want to truly accept the fact that we are the biblical Israelites. That's just what it is. Everybody else can be displaced and everybody else can call themselves Israelites, but when the so-called Negro, beginning with the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, whenever we call ourselves the Israelites, it's a problem, you see. But the thing is that the Lord, all right, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, all right, he's making an inquisition of the wicked at the moment. And when the inquisition of the wicked is being made, the truth is going to be made manifest. All right, the truth of who the devil truly is on the planet Earth. All right, the truth of the lies, the deception, and the deceit that this devil has pretty much ingrained and pretty much wrote in the earth. You know, all these things will be manifest, and the true chosen people will be manifest, as it says in the book of Hosea, the 1st chapter. It says, in the land where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, there it shall be said unto them that ye are the sons of the living power. Okay, now when you read John 7 and 35 here, we'll read it in the KJV, all right, and then we'll read it in the NLT. All right, you can also read it in the NIV as well, and it gives an even greater, okay, translation. Okay, so this is the book of St. John, chapter 7, verse 35. Excuse me. It says, then said the Jews among themselves, whither will he go, that we shall not find him? Will he go unto the dispersed among the Gentiles and teach the Gentiles? So mind you, the Jews, the circumcision, were already aware of the fact that we will be scattered. You see, they were already aware of the fact that Israel will be scattered. Okay, but the thing is that those heathen that they were calling heathen in the New Testament, they were calling Israelites heathen as well, because what happened? Our people fell. Our people went a whoring after other gods, specifically, you know, whenever you go into the Greek Empire or the Greek captivity, which you don't read within your modern day King James Bible, or whatever, you know, whatever Bible that you have. If you go to the Geneva Bible, you know, you go to the King James 1611 Bible or the Tinsdale Bible. I believe the Tinsdale Bible has it. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. But when you go into those Bibles, and even some Roman Catholic institutions has the Apocrypha in the Bible today. You can read in the Apocrypha the book of Maccabees, 1st and 2nd Maccabees, where it gives a detailed account of our captivity amongst the Greek Empire, where we actually learned the ways of the heathen. We were calling ourselves Greeks. We wasn't circumcising ourselves or our children. Okay, and we started just following after the customs of the Greek and called ourselves Greeks. But you had a remnant, all right, of those that stuck to the traditions, and that's where you had pretty much where you had the Pharisees. Well, realistically, the Pharisees really came out of the Medo-Persian Empire when you go into it, but those Israelites that stuck to the traditions, the Jews that stuck to the traditions, all right, they stem from the Hasmonean dynasty. Okay, and the Hasmonean dynasty were those of, you had Matthias and Judas Maccabees and his brothers, and down the line, you had those that stuck to the way. Now, after sticking to the way, of course, they added like an oral law on top of the 635 laws, statutes, and commandments, where they were pretty much adding to the scriptures, and they were going off, But they looked down upon Israelites that strayed away from the way. So when you read in the New Testament and you read about these Gentiles that are converting back, and then you read about the Apostle Paul's ministry to the uncircumcised, those are Israelites that are in a Gentile state of mind. That's why we say in a Gentile state of mind. Okay? Just as you were here in America, all right, you didn't know that you was an Israelite. You were following after these customs. You were celebrating Christmas, Halloween, Thanksgiving, going to church every Sunday, calling on Jesus, whether or not he was going to church on every Sunday or not. But at the end of the day, you wasn't calling on Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. If you was a man, for the most part, you was probably getting the edge up. You probably wasn't growing your beard out like that, committing adultery, all these various different things that we were doing. Okay? This is John 7:35 in the NLT. It says, the Jewish leaders were puzzled by this statement. Where is he planning to go? They asked. Is he thinking of leaving the country and going to the Jews in other lands? You see that? The Jews in other lands. We will be scattered, and that's written in the scriptures. Maybe he will even teach the Greeks. You see? And when you get that word Greeks, okay? Matter of fact, let's see if the word Gentiles here is the word let's see if this word here is Helen. I'm curious. Let's see. Yep, boom, there you go right there. Will you go among the Greeks or the Gentiles and teach the Gentiles? And that word Gentiles here is not ethnos. Okay, that word here is Helen, or Helene, if you want to say it correctly, Helene. It says a Greek either by nationality, whether a native of the mainland or Greek islands or colonies, right? It says in a wider sense, the name embraces all nations, not Jews, that made the learning, customs, and the language, customs, and learning of the Greeks their own. You see, so Helene or Israelites that embrace that Greco-Roman way. Okay, they were the ones that were that was getting those Greekish style haircuts, wearing the Greekish clothing, getting tattoos and not circumcising themselves. They were calling themselves Greeks. You see, and then Hellenistes were Israelites, all right, that were scattered amongst the other lands, all right, that spoke the language of the other lands, but they knew that they were Israelites. That's the difference between Helene and Hellenistes. And when you read in the scriptures, you may see Greek, like as you see Gentile here, or you may see Grecians. You see? It says the primary reference is to a difference of religion and worship. Because what were they worshiping? They were worshiping Jupiter, Zeus, which really was, during the time of the Greeks, it was Jupiter, and then the Romans was Zeus. Just like you have Ares and Mars are the same thing, They were worshiping all these other gods, following after the ways of the heathen. And the scripture says that the scripture stated that would happen. Okay, let's get Deuteronomy 28 and 35 here. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 35. It says, and this lesson ain't going to be long. Okay. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 35, right? It says, Yahweh shall smite thee in the knee. Is it 35? Hold on 1 second. Salakia, hold on. Here you go. I'm sorry, verse 36. It says, Yahweh shall bring thee and thy king, which thou set over thee, which that king is talking about King David, right? Unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known. You see, and this is really talking about over here. It says, and served and there shalt thou serve other gods, wood and stone. You see, we will be sent to another nation, and we will serve gods or idols of wood and stone. That will be a punishment. Okay, the scripture says, let me get Hosea 8 real fast. Hosea 8 and 8. It says that we will be as amongst the Gentiles as a vessel that's unclean. Okay, Hosea chapter 8 verse 8. It says, Israel is swallowed up. Now shall they be among the Gentiles as a vessel wherein is no pleasure. You see, we will be among the Gentiles or among the other nations as a vessel without pleasure. And what would happen? What would happen while we were? What would happen while we would be around these other nations? We will learn their ways, and that was ultimately our downfall, man. You see, the scriptures talk about. I think it's in the book of Exodus, how if we didn't take those Canaanites out the land, all right, that they will be pretty much their gods and their ways will be a snare and a trap unto us. You see, and that's one thing that our people, you know, really Christians, I rather say, Christians don't fully understand. You know, they don't fully understand the fact that Israel was scattered, and then when you bring it up, they just equate everybody, which is complete madness. It's madness, man. It's just not true. Okay, let's get the next scripture, Deuteronomy 30:4. Let's get that one. You can read Deuteronomy 28 verse 64 as well. As, you know, this is Deuteronomy chapter 30 verse 4. It says, if any of thine be driven out unto the uttermost parts of heaven, we will be scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. It says, from thence, right, will Yahweh thy power gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee. You see, so where we will be scattered, and this is happening right now. It's ultimately going to happen whenever Yahweh Shah returns with the angels and we get gathered up, Lord willing, we have that number, you know, and we get beamed up into the chariots. But it's happening right now with this word. That's why in these various different lands, all right, where we will put to shame, we're calling upon the name of Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai, and he's hearing us, man. You see, he's hearing us. He's replying back to us. You know, he no longer kept us on. He ain't keeping us on red no more. You know, he's actually hearing our cries, man. You know, and the fact of the matter is that once the 144,000, all right, and the rest of the elect are sealed, okay, which the 144,000 and the rest of the elect do consist of the full 1/3. All right, that's when the Lord is going to send Yahweh Shai back to destroy Babylon the Great, man. Okay, and gather us from the four corners of the earth, as it says in Matthew 24. He will send forth his angels and gather together his elect from the four corners of the earth. It says, and Yahweh thy power will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed, and thou shalt possess it, which is what? The land of Israel. That's our land that we're going to be brought back to. It says, and he will do thee good and multiply thee above thy fathers. And Yahweh thy power will circumcise thine heart and the heart of thy seed to love Yahweh thy power with all thine heart and with all thy soul, and with that thou mayest live. And that's the fulfillment, all right, of the new covenant. Because it said that he will circumcise our heart and the heart of our seed, meaning what? Our children. Our children that are going to be born out of our loins are going to automatically know. They're going to automatically know what's pleasing unto Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai. All right, Isaiah 49 verse 6, it says, and he said, it is a light thing that thou shouldest be my servant to raise up the tribes of Jacob and to restore the preserved of Israel. Right? I will also gather thee for a light to the Gentiles. It's talking about Yahweh Shai, and we come in that stead as well too in this time, right? Remember the Apostle Paul said this in Acts the 13th chapter, that thou mayest be my salvation unto the end of the earth. You see, we're a light unto the Gentiles. Those Gentiles are talking about what? The tribes of Jacob that will be restored. That's who the Gentiles is talking about here. It ain't talking about all nations of people, man. Okay, let's get Judah 5:19 real quick. And then we'll actually end it off on this one. Like I said, I didn't want to make this too long. This is Judah chapter 5, verse 19. It says, let's start at verse 18. It says, but when they departed from the way which he appointed them, they were destroyed in many battles very sore. Because what? Whenever we would depart from the ways of Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai, the heathen would overtake us. It says, and were led captives into a land that was not theirs, and the temple of their power was cast to the ground, and their cities were taken by the enemies. And that would always happen. We would stray away from the law, statutes, and commandments, and the Lord would send the heathen upon us, and they would destroy us, and they would sack the temple. It says, but now are they returned to their power, and are come up from the places where they were scattered. See, that's Diaspora, and have possessed Jerusalem, where their sanctuary is, and are seated in the hill country. For it was desolate. And that's what the Lord ultimately is going to do now. You see, we are the temple of Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai. So he's going to gather us up from where we've been scattered. The house of David is being resurrected. All right. It says, and possess Jerusalem, where the sanctuary is, which the Lord's sanctuary is with men, and are seated in the hill country. And that hill country ultimately is pretty much those of us, Lord willing, we're of that number that's going to be the governing body, man. You see? I mean, of course, this was physically talking about the physical state, the city of Jerusalem, the physical temple, us being physically scattered. But hey, the scattering happened again. Remember, the Apostle Paul said that there will be a falling away first, and then the man of sin will be revealed at the end of the day. You know? So I just want to do a quick lesson on this. You know, Lord willing, it was edifying to the elect. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, B'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, B'Hashem, Hakodash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders, a great millstone that taught us his truth and also teaching his truth. And much peace, love, and salutation to the elect. Until next time I say, Shalom.